back. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
Some people like to rock, some people like to roll, but moving and the grooving gonna satisfy my soul. Let's have a party. Let's have a party.
Well, let's have a party. All right, if you insist. It's Boomer Life. We're talking retirement living with the fine folks from Revera Retirement Living, and specifically Fleetwood Villa in Surrey. The executive director there is Simone Pelaire. Michelle Weibolt is the lifestyle consultant, and Carrie Jackson is with us as well from Revera, BC, and head office downtown. We've been talking a lot about the inquiry process, making that first connection, because once the doorway is opened, at least there's some information that's allowed to begin to flow. So Simone, when people come to Fleetwood and they want information, it's very important that they get a lot of good information fast. So you're very good about responding and giving good, complete responses as well, right?
Yes, so we provide them all the information that they inquire, and I know whatever it is that they need, socially, medically, that Michelle would do with them during the discovery period.
Right.
And then we actually, in return, we need to make sure that the prospect that wants to move in with us is actually suitable for assisted living as well, because that's what we offer.
Right.
And so we would normally give them, a couple of documents that they have to take with them to provide to their doctor.
Well, I would think, Michelle, that's pretty reasonable. If you're going to move into a community of seniors, the people who are going to look after your interests need to know what kind of shape you're in.
Well, Sterling, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. We may be dealing with seniors. Some have some concerns. Maybe they have high blood pressure. Maybe if they have macular degeneration. Who knows what they might have.
Yep.
In order for us to really be able to feel confident that we can provide the level of care and community that they're looking for, we need something called a physician statement.
Mm-hmm.
And all it is a document that the doctor fills out saying, here's what medications they're on, here's what, maybe they have Parkinson's. And what happens with this information before your mom and dad or anybody's parents move into our community? Wilfred Mamarill, he's our director of health and wellness, our head nurse.
Okay.
He meets with the other nurses and he says, we've got this resident who perhaps has blood pressure issues, mobility, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
That way the nurses are fully prepared. So when the resident moves in, if they've had a little too much fun or they've been eating a little too much of our good food or something and they press our call alert button and the nurses come running, the nurses have an idea what could be the trouble. And so again, knowledge is power, and so we would require a physician statement just to make sure our nurses are at the top of their game.
Well, sure, and if there is any kind of issue, then all of that medical information is available to them at a computer stroke.
Absolutely.
Right? It just, your file is on the screen and they've got all they need right in front of them.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Because again, they're independent seniors, but sometimes it doesn't matter your age. You need a bit of assistance.
Right.
Maybe you need some help remembering when to take your medications. Well, we make sure that our nursing staff at Fleetwood Villa is trained above and beyond, and they're prepared. And in order to prepare them, we need a couple of documents before mom and dad move in and join us.
Right. And I would think, though, that, I mean, even if you're going to get life insurance, you're going to have to get one of those forms, Simone.
Exactly.
It's not unusual, especially once you get beyond a certain age. And even we boomers are beginning to our dismay to discover that more and more forms are required just to get through life. So we're kind of accustomed to it by the time we're set to move into a retirement community, aren't we? So it's not unusual.
Yeah, it's just like a snapshot of their current medical condition, basically. So, aside from the physician statement that Michelle mentioned, we also have a form that's actually required by Fraser Health for any senior, which is called the medical order for scope of treatment. So again, you just take those two documents to your doctor, and then they fill it up, and Will, our Director of Health and Wellness, does the assessment.
And Carrie, you said that Revera has 9 communities in British Columbia, but there are even more across Canada. And I assume that the protocols are the same for admission into any community.
Absolutely. I mean, we just want to make sure that we're servicing the resident. It really is about the resident.
Yeah.
So, as Michelle mentioned, having that knowledge provides us with the ability to offer the services and be able to really make sure that it's individualized for that resident.
Michelle?
Well, that's exactly it. And what we find is perhaps with some residents, particularly men, Sterling, so take note, please.
All right.
Some men like to think that they're still able to do the marathon. Well, at 85, you might be able to, but it might be a challenge. Your knees might not be so good. So this physician statement tells Will, our head of nursing, okay, if you see him out running around the neighborhood trying to do the marathon, let's get him to stop because those knees are not going to be able to handle it.
Right.
Things along those lines. So it's nothing extraordinary. It's just at the back of our mind and the front of our minds, the care of your family member is the most important to us. But keeping that in mind, we also are firm believers that life, whatever age we live to, whether it be 70, 90, 20, life has got to be lived to that last moment, and it's got to be enjoyed. And so our nursing staff needs to be well aware of what might occur based on your age, based on your medical history. So by knowing that, it gives you, the resident, and you, the family members, confidence to let your parents enjoy their life.
That's right. A little peace of mind goes an awfully long way.
Absolutely.
Simone, suppose now we've talked a lot about the food and the fact that you don't have to do any cooking. And you don't have to do any cleaning. And you don't have to do the drudge stuff. That's all history now. But what happens? What happens? And I know guys who are as inclined as some women. What happens if you like to cook and you don't want to do it every day, but I've got this special dish that I can make a party out of it. So do I have access to a stove if I want to go for it every now and then?
We do actually have a private dining room that our residents can use for free. And it's got the full kitchen there. And it's usually actually used by the families a lot as well when they want to cater for a birthday party or an anniversary for their parents. So yeah, so we do definitely have a full kitchen. They just have to book it.
I think that's another thing, Carrie, that we need to probably speak to for a second or two. And because Michelle and Simone have done an excellent job, and every turn in the road talking about the family members. We like the kids are coming in for your birthday, or they're coming in from out of town or whatever. It really is important, I think, that seniors particularly understand that this is not warehousing, that the family that is as important to them today will be just as important to them tomorrow at their new address. And the access will be the same, if not better.
Well, no, I was going to say it's actually better because, we touched on people staying in their homes. They have their families around, but the families are doing tasks.
Sure.
And now, moving into one of our communities, moving into Fleetwood Villa, now the family can actually visit because we've taken all of those burdens away. They don't have to come by and do the grocery shopping. They don't need to be coming by making sure mom's eating or throwing out the spoiled food, cutting the lawn, up on the ladder, trimming hedges. I mean, all of those things are taken care of. And so now it's quality time. And I think a lot of the families, when we hear from them, they didn't realize that the amount of time they were spending with their loved ones wasn't quality.
Well, isn't that an interesting observation, Michelle? That just because you see Mom every weekend, I go over to her house, I cut the lawn, do a little weeding, make sure that the fridge is full and the cupboards but we don't actually visit. I go over to her place and I do stuff, and without which life would be a lot worse. But we don't really visit much. I'm busy, and she just stands back and lets me do my thing because I'm busy.
That's it. Well, and that's the tough thing when you're dealing with senior parents, or even as a parent if you're dealing with teenagers. There's just not enough time in the day. So if your parent is needing you to mow the lawn, needing you to go grocery shopping, needing you to take them to the doctor, when you do actually have time, you can't spend it with that person because now you've got your teenage kid who's screaming, I want your dad, or whatever.
That's right.
So the quality of your interactions with your parents aren't fun anymore. They become a chore. They become heavy. They become almost resented, And what happens when you join our community? The shopping's taken care of. The gardening's taken care of. Everything's taken care of. So when you take Mom out, you can actually go out and enjoy her company.
That's right.
Find out all about her. How was your week at the villa? Did Flirty Bert flirt with you? Did this person, you can ask about life and living, and it's not always, what's up now? I got to go here. I got to get Mom grocery. It just becomes such an enjoyable relationship, and you actually start to see your parent as more of a friend, not this person you're looking after, they're looking after you. You create a much more equal situation.
End the drudgery. Have some fun.
Yes.
Get to know your parents again. This has been a terrific episode of Boomer Life, with great thanks to Simone and Michelle and Carrie. An absolutely wonderful, fast-paced hour. I enjoyed it enormously. Please come back.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you next time right here on Boomer Life.